All right, Nigeria Super Eagles are continuing with preparations in Uyo ahead of their World Cup qualifier against South Africa's Bafana Bafana coming up this Friday. The match is pivotal for Nigeria's aspirations to qualify for the FIFA World Cup, and newly appointed coach Finidi George understands the importance of this task. The upcoming matches, including the one against Benin, are seen as critical tests for the team, and a positive outcome is desired considering the disappointing start to the qualifiers. Joining us now via our video line to help us build up to that clash coming up in Uyo on Friday at the Akpabio Stadium is, from the Super Eagles perspective, as Nigerian sports journalist Damilola Onifade. Damilola, thank you so much for joining us here in South Africa on Newzroom Afrika. Preparations for the Super Eagles going the way you would have expected. I can confirm that Bafana Bafana are at the moment somewhere up in the air coming to Uyo.
Good afternoon, Benjamin. Thank you for having me. The Super Eagles preparation have started since Sunday and is going to plan so far, although there was some little delay for some of the players because of the industrial action that we had in Nigeria, national strike, between Monday and yesterday. But some of those players, about 5 of them, landed in camp yesterday. So that's probably the only glitch that we've had so far. Otherwise, training started on Sunday, and a good number of the players, 15 of them, were in camp early enough, and preparation has been going on fine, and the expectation is quite high in Nigeria here as well.
Any more team news, Damilola, because we do know that there is a problem up front with one of the star players not being available. The man from Lazio is not with the Super Eagles for this camp. Any more team news?
Yeah, I want to believe you're talking of Osimhen. That's Napoli. Really.
Napoli,
he's
yes.
He's not in camp, but again, the Super Eagles seems to have coped in recent time with his absence. The good thing was the last 2 friendlies they had, it was really also not available for the second game particularly. And the other, he had been replaced immediately with one of the players based there at home, Kenneth Igboke, although a defender. We also have a new call-up that was also called Olawanyi to also replace one of the players that was also injured at some point. So there's nothing that the Super Eagles should be troubled about. That's basically the point. Injuries are part of the game. The coaches have quickly reacted each time a player has pulled out. And I think that shouldn't be a problem at this moment. Again, because we are having a new coach. Yes, he's been with the team as assistant coach, but it's a new direction for the team. And he has to just work with the players that he has available at this time. Yes, Osimhen is the star player. But then, of course, you know that we still have Ademola Lookman. Paul Onuachu is coming off a fantastic season as well. In Europe, Ademola Lookman, of course, well celebrated the last 2 weeks. His hat-trick in the final of the Europa League. Victor Boniface is also fit. Was absent for the AFCON. And many Nigerians believe if he was at the AFCON, the Super Eagles probably would be African champions today. So he's back. And Samuel Chukwueze is also fit. He's in the team. Kelechi Iheanacho also not very fit at the last AFCON. So I think up front, the Super Eagles have enough firepower for the coach to work with. And these players come with different skill sets. And so it gives him other options of how to consider facing the South Africans. The good thing, again, for Finidi is the fact that just early this year, the semi-final of the AFCON, we play South Africa. And so he has an idea of what to expect.
And that time that you did play South Africa at the Nations Cup, you played to a 1-1 draw. I know Nigeria won on penalties, but on record,
yes,
it's a draw. Would it be such an embarrassment for the Super Eagles, as we see them training there in shot just a short while ago? Would it be such an embarrassment for them to lose to Bafana Bafana in their own backyard, considering how Bafana Bafana have performed, particularly this year, making it into the top 10 on the continent even?
It definitely will be an embarrassment for Nigeria to lose against any team on the African continent at home. It's something that the average Nigerian fan does not even want to think about. But against South Africa, the rivalry is at a different level because of the history of the matches between the two sides. I must admit that at the AFCON, South Africa was quite impressive. I think the Super Eagles were a little scared of the South Africans, but then it's a different direction. What we saw the Super Eagles play at the AFCON is not the same style we expect them to play. They were very defensive at the AFCON, and I think the South Africans took very good advantage of it. I've heard the coach of the Bafana Bafana, Hugo Bros, speaking about if South Africa was a bit lucky, they could have been in the final, and I can't argue against that. Really, they were very impressive, and I think that's what I said is a good thing that we played them early this year. The coach, the players knew what to expect this time. They know they can't take South Africa for granted. South Africa is also blessed with talented and very skillful players. Desitao is also coming off a very fantastic season with Al Ahly, winning the Champions League as well. So there's no way you want to look down South Africa. The talent is there. The skill is there. The organization is there. So if you're not ready, they definitely will embarrass you. They also want to go to the World Cup, just like the Super Eagles.
A couple of points at the moment for the Super Eagles. It's not what you'd expect going into round 3 of the qualifiers. 6 points on offer. They've only returned 2, a draw against Lesotho, a draw against Zimbabwe. And that is something that Finidi George, he'll have to do a lot to make sure they come out of this hole.
Yeah, he has to do a lot. It's a must-win game for the Super Eagles if the hope of going to the next World Cup must be kept alive. Not just this game against South Africa. Of course, you have to start from the game in front of you, which is South African game. That's why concentration has to be on that. The next game as well must also be one that Nigeria must win, which is on Monday against Benin Republic. Because, like you said, it's something that most Nigerians are still struggling to understand what hits the Super Eagles in those first 2 games. Nobody had ever thought that the Super Eagles would play 2 games against Lesotho, with all due respect to those 2 nations. But of course, we know that when it comes to pedigree and talent-wise, anybody, anywhere in the world, we expect that the Super Eagles, at the very least, should have gotten at least 4 points. Pick the point at home and probably get a draw, worst case scenario, away from home. But they didn't. They picked 2 draws, including the game at home. And so it set the stage for this. That's why this game is a must-win, and they have no choice.
Yeah. Well, Damilola, I can confirm to you that after Friday night, the Super Eagles will still be on 2 points following their game against Bafana Bafana. Thank you so much for joining us live from Lagos. It's Damilola Onifade. He's a sports journalist in Nigeria ahead of that all-important World Cup qualifier against Bafana Bafana this Friday night. Michelle.